Hey guys, welcome back to Sharks Academy, and in today's video I want to share with you the weekly market analysis moving forward into next week. So before we get started, please like and subscribe our channel, right? Keep your alerts on and continue to support us, right? We'll be dropping more and more videos for you guys, right? And sometimes we will ask for your opinion on what kind of videos you want to watch. So without further ado, let's dive into the first pair. So this is the dollar index, and this over here, right, is going to get ran. Why? Because we do not see any mitigation just yet. Prices broke here, right, and continue to break higher. So technically speaking, the mitigation process should happen somewhere here, right? So let's go and find out where could prices potentially mitigate. This entire area here, potentially, right? So let's refine it towards this daily zone. So yes, I can expect prices to run down into this level, change character, then deliver higher to run into this liquidity pool. Unless prices decides to run this liquidity here, right? Run this, breaks out, and then I'll be looking to buy again. I'm looking to buy here or here, right? Depends on whether we get some sort of reaction when prices tags into supply here. Okay, so the truth is that if we have a supply here, prices tags in, reacts, break, this demand is a valid demand to get longs. Right? Means you are bullish in the dollar index over here. Otherwise, your next bullish leg is actually this entire area here. The lowest point before it broke the structure. Anywhere within this bullish leg is valid for buys. And we are not going to go sell, or we're not going to go for shorts unless prices breaks this low. So over here we have the Aussie dollar, and sure enough, when prices took out low, breaks high, pink structure, right? We expect prices to run this, and we are looking towards that. Okay, so how do we trade this movement then? We are in the push phase on daily time frame. What you want to see is a break, then get involved here potentially. Okay, and here of course the extreme. So if you are to ask me, this would be a better buy. But of course, if we see a 15M chop here, we could potentially play the lower time frames here. So this may not be the one that runs to the high, right? Prices may actually come back deeper before shifting to go higher. Then this shift or accumulation phase would be the one that runs the high. Okay, so sorry, the high would be anywhere here. All right, depends on how far this pushes. Then trade the 15M chop, 15M chop here to go for highs created here. All right, our new high basically. So doesn't mean that this doesn't run into the highs, means that you can't earn money, right? Because you're trading the internal framework. 15M bullish, trade the 15M range. Next up, we have the Euro Pound. We broke structure here. We expected this to be our bearish leg. So now prices may be reacting towards it, right? So we just sweep highs. Can you see? We sweep high, we sweep another high. So what we're going to see is we're going to see a change of character, which didn't happen yet. Yes, we have highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, and now about to create a new low. So the truth is that I want this to be bearish. Then now my entire market structure here is the same as the one over here, right? So long term bearish, immediate term bearish on the daily time frame. So this is where I scale down. Okay, it's cleaner on the 4 hours. We have this and we have this, right? So this is a sweep. So this is really nice because if prices were to play out like this, right? Because we have a demand here, this demand should create a new high. Yes. So maybe if you're okay to use wick breaks as your breakout structure, right, and take a so-called counter trend trade towards this market framework, then this at least is bullish. So with this as your bullish leg, this is a 4 hours demand. Okay, maybe you can refine this towards the last demand here, and then look for a 15M play, right? Maybe you want to break a swing structure, so you want to see this getting taken out like this, then the pullback into some sort of demand here, then continue the bullish play, right? This could be one of the projections. Otherwise, you can see or wait for a sweep, then the breakout, or shift, my change of character here, and wait to get involved here, right? This is all counter trend trading, depending on how you look at it, because this is the framework. But if you go to the 4 hours, this is bullish. Okay, we continue to break high here. Okay, we sweep liquidity, then we broke high. So technically, this area here is still bullish, and that is why if you want your time frame to align, this entire market structure that is bearish needs a bearish structure here as well. Right now, this is all bullish. We want to see this breakdown. So yes, if you want to trade with the trend, where or how do you do it? Taps in, this should create a high. If it fails to do so and breaks down, this becomes your flip zone. And I will look for my 15M play here. Right? So now you understand that, okay, yes, we broke the lows. We have a bearish market framework here. I can wait for the 15M shift and trade here as well. Then now this becomes bearish. Can you see all of these are all bearish, right? Your market time frames are aligned. And that is why you can actually trade this way. And this is how you trade with the trend. Okay. So next up, Euro Yen, we have a breakout structure here. We do have this bearish framework over here. So now, play around the time frames. Look for an unmitigated order block. And on the 8 hours, you have this supply, right? So when prices text in, you want to see the higher time frame be in your favor first. All right, you can even use this inside bar for a slightly refined area, like this. Okay, so as much as possible, I want to see a H4 change of character over here. So yes, we're going to sweep the highs maybe here, but we're going to deliver higher, then the break, then trade back into this supply, and then use another 15M change of character here. Right? So 15M change of character, then take sells. Okay, so this is where you align your time frames. You have 15M bearish, you have H4 bearish here. Okay, and then you have the entire framework here bearish. So now this could potentially run the lows of all of this. Right? And that's how you do it. So now for euro dollar, we are delivering bullishly here. Right, we broke high as well. And now we change character towards the downside over here. Okay, so we can expect temporary bearish movement until we find an area to look for buys. So let's play around the time frame. Look for unmitigated zones. Alright, so you know that we have one over here. Okay, this is the sell to buy wick on the 2 hours time frame. And then let's play around the 1 hour. And on the 15M, we do have another one over here. Right? So this entire area valid for buys as well. So what am I looking for on the lower time frame? So you understand that we have a H4 big break of structure. On the 15M, I expect lower prices to be met like this. Text into this POI. Shift. Then look for buys to go higher. So this is what I'm going to look for. And I understand the fact that this could have been another entry. So this framework that we've built over here is going to be happening over here as well. So I want to look for this before taking prices towards the liquidity highs resting above this level. Okay, so this is just a framework. Make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. Make sure that you have your time frame aligned, and make sure that you understand the shift in structure. And you can look for further confirmations inside of this demand. All of these are valid, right? So you have a 1 minute entry model here. You can have another 1M entry model inside here. And you do not necessarily need to run the highs. Always understand that. All of these are liquidity pools and targets as well. So this valid as well. Okay, all of these are targets. Okay, and of course, if it starts to deliver lower, you have new targets, right? All of these are targets as well. So for pound yen, when prices broke structure here, we expected a sell side move, right? So remember, we were looking for sells here after it changed character on the 4 hours. So indeed, we have a high, a low, a high. We broke, right? So this is a change of character on the 4 hours. So now we know that 4 hours is bearish at this point of time. So let's go down to the lower time frame, right, the 15M, and look for a shift. So can you see it started shifting when it tags into this 15M supply? Right, so we can remove this. Prices indeed give us a tag here. So as a 4 hours trader, this is your limit order. As a 15M trader who is using confirmations as one of their ways to get involved, then this is what you're looking for, right? This breakdown. So can you see that as soon as prices breaks down via this candle, this candle, right, broke. This becomes the 15M POI. So let's take a look. All right, how can we get involved in this trade? Go down to the 1M and confirm this. You're looking for the same exact movement. You're looking for a change of character on the 1M to tell you that 1M is at least bearish. This is the framework. Can you see? Took out highs, took out lows, right? So if you're someone who use body breaks, then this is the body break, right? Body break, buy to sell, get involved. Okay, where is your protected high? Over here. Stop loss above this high plus the spreads, right? Maybe just 5 points and then run the lows. Okay, this could have been your target for 1:4.78. So it depends on how you manage your trade, right? If you're aggressive in partials, 1:2 possible, right? And then of course this gets ran after that. All right, so continue doing the same thing. We have another PY above, like this. So let me take a look at what PY is this. Okay, so we have a 2-minute supply. So when prices text in, we are waiting for a 1M change of character as well. So it depends on what you're looking at. This sweeps high. This is the change of character. This is my break of structure on the 1M. All right, so we sweeps high, we broke low. This would have been some entry that would have targeted this low as your take profit for TP1. All right, but it's too tight. Let's go down to the lower time frame and really understand what is going on here. So you know that our trade is valid the moment it breaks this low. So we are going now to the 30 seconds and look for supply areas. And yes, we have a supply here. Okay. So prices did tag in and then starts to run highs. This would have been a losing trade. So it really depends on how you're looking at market structure, because you understand that when prices breaks this low, you have a PY here. It starts to what? Accumulate, move high, move up, right? Starts to deliver bullishly. So what you want to see is potentially market realignment over here. You want to see prices text in here, move up, break down. Maybe get involved here. Otherwise, you want to see this is the break. Right? You want to see this getting taken out like this. And pull back and get involved. All right, this is when you are using market alignment. Otherwise, most traders would have been, placing a sell limit here, stop loss, target 1 here. Right? I may have gotten caught in the wrong side of the direction as well. Right? This might be me. I might have lost this trade if I were to take note as well. So it's fine. So where are we heading to ultimately? You understand that on the daily time frame, we are still bearish here. Right? We sweeps the high, we broke down. Okay, and then our daily demand is here. So technically speaking, I want prices to at least run into this level. Okay, because prices did react to some sort of demand maybe at the entire framework here. Okay, but at least now we are bearish here. So play around the time frames again. Go down to the 4 hours, go down to the 1 hour, and you understand that over here we have a POI. Okay, so mitigated is fine. Use the 50%. And use this. Okay, or you can play around the time frames, look for something that is unmitigated, like this. This one over here, unmitigated. And the one above, extreme, unmitigated. Okay, so we drag it to the right here. And what we want to see is the same framework over here. We want to see the 4 hours shifting. Then look for sells. 4 hours shifting, then look for sells. Okay, then use the 3-step process. All right, when it shifts here, we have a POI here, we can get involved. Right, so if you're a forward trader, sell limit. Forward trader, sell limit. 15M trader, look for the same thing over here, inside here, right? The shift in market structure, the shift in market structure to take prices lower. So now GU, the entire sell structure is over here. So I'm looking for sells, right? And then this is the extreme. And of course, we have another POI here. So all of these are valid for sells. Okay, of course, the best price is definitely here. And anything inside of this range is ready for sells, right? So if you want to use the 50%, then this is not valid as well, right? This is beneath the 50%. So you're selling essentially low. Okay, but what is so powerful about this is it's a flip zone. You see here? I'm not sure whether it tagged in. I think it tagged in perfectly. All right, this is a perfect mitigation. So we track the highs. Okay, so this candle's high is 709, and this candle low is 714. Okay, so we didn't get tagged in, right? But again, it tagged into the entire demand here. So still valid flip, right? This tags in, failed to create high, reacts, breakdown. So this is a supply. And honestly speaking, if I were to see a 4-hour shift here, right? If I see a 4-hour pull trend happening here, I'll take the trade, right? Sweeps high, breaks lower, POI, 15M shift, I'll take the trade. This will be my framework for all of the POIs above, right? Because I understand the fact that this is my bearish push. This is the break of structure towards the downside. All of these are valid daily supply levels. I want to see 4 hours be in my favor first, then look for 15M shift, and then maybe play the 1 minute. Okay, so if you want to look for counter trend trade, because you understand that yes, prices may run into this high, so we have range to move higher. So let's play around the lower time frames. We have a 4-hour break here. Okay, so if you are using body breaks, then not yet. Otherwise, you're going to see a clean body break, and then look for buys maybe here, maybe somewhere lower inside this wick. All right, to catch prices towards the upside. Otherwise, you want to play bearish. You want to play and align your direction, right? You want to play this bearish move. You want to wait for prices to change and turn bearish, then go for sales. So what are we expecting for New Zealand dollar? Because we just broke swing structure here. Right, so now if you were to use this as your change of character, or weak break as your break of structure, then this would have been a potential entry. But from the looks of it, may not have mitigated anything. All right, maybe the entire POI here, but for me, this has been mitigated, so not valid. I won't get involved anyway. So now if I see another break here, like this, then now my structure becomes this framework. Okay, so I want to see a breakout of this high. Once this breaks out, my demand is definitely going to be here. So this is my extreme, right, on daily. And you can clearly see this. What is this move? This is a supply. So prices moves up, reacts, breakout. So this could have been a valid POI as well, but of course you are buying higher, right? But if you are using the lower time frame as confirmation, you could perhaps got involved. Maybe run some highs here before moving lower, before going higher. So this is the framework. Then see yourself. Right? You may even deliver higher, then decide to go lower. Then all you need to do is wait for another chop to get involved to run the highs. Okay, all of these are definitely valid. So if you're unsure, then just remove this. Why? Because either way you want to sell, you want to buy beneath the 50%. So you want to buy here ultimately at the extreme. Okay, so this is the framework. And of course, you can use 4 hours as your pro trend. When prices comes back down, to switch first, then use the 15M. Same thing. So UCAT was amazing. We caught a 1:16 trade. So you realize this is a H4 BOS. We came back to the last demand. This is the extreme, right? This is the best possible position you can put yourself in for to look for buys. Okay, and then the 15M over here, we have a change of character. Can you see? We have low, high, low. Okay, it breaks up. So this over here is the body break. You can use this as well, right? Weak breaks. But you understand that for someone who trades supply and demand flip, reactions and wicks are basically reactions. So prices can do this, break out, then you can trade here. This is valid. Alright, but for me, I use the extreme. I use this entire 15M. Okay, so this is where my 15M traders place a buy limit here. Stop loss, aim the highs. Right, this is 1:3.5 for TP1, and TP2 will be this high here, and TP3 will be this high here. So TP3 didn't meet target, right? It's fine. So now, what did I do? I went down to the lower time frame, the 1M, after the 15M chop, right? So where did we come from? bullish framework. Yeah. Okay. Step number 1. Now 15M change of character. This is my bullish framework. Number 1. My 1 minute time frame, sorry. This is a bullish framework. Can you see? Oh, took out low, took out high. 1M framework. Buy limit. 1.5 pip stop loss. Run the highs. EP1 here. EP2 here. And then of course aim for higher highs. So the other next target would be over here, which didn't met. Okay. So this is how you scale in to the 1M positions and look for targets on the 15M. So now what am I looking for ideally? I'm waiting for another 15M. So we just took out low. You want to see this high getting taken out like this. Then trade the pullback and then run the highs again. Otherwise, you want to play the change character on the lower time frames like this. You're gonna see this high being taken out. Okay, we might potentially react to some sort of supply here before breaking, and then you can take longs here. Understanding the fact that this now is bearish, so you're trading the internal structure ultimately. Maybe reacting to some supply here to go lower. So ultimately, if you want to see prices running the highs, all of this, you want to see prices breaks this level first, because structure wise here, this is a swing structure, right? I want to see this breakout, pull back, then get involved. So how do we make sense out of USD CHF? Look at this movement over here, not very clean. Okay, so now we change character to the upside, right, and expect prices to run this high. So prices didn't break above this level, instead reacted to some supply here on the 50%. Okay, so this supply is still valid, of course, because it took out low, right, and actually taps into this demand. So the truth is that this supply didn't create new low, and that's why we do not expect this to run towards the low. Okay, but if this movement over here actually breaks this level, right, because if you track the movement, low, high, low, high, low, high, all right, or maybe this is the high, low, and high. So if we break this level, this tells us that demand is going to fail, right, because ultimately, again, this demand failed to create high, and therefore should be red potentially. But then again, doesn't matter. We want to see prices breaks, pull back, then look for sells.